Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tito, and with this video I want to kick off a new series on my channel where I essentially talk about episodes of the talk show Shop Talk. Now, Shop Talk is a talk show, like I said, hosted by Adeolu Adefarasin, where they talk about leadership and being a man and different societal issues, but I think from a millennial's perspective. And by millennials, I'm talking about people born from between 1980 and 1993, if I'm correct. I'll probably put it on the screen or in the description box below the range that millennials fall in. So that's what the show essentially is about. Now, there was season 1 last year, and I was actually on that. I was on an episode with Aka where we talked about is cheating natural? I'll put the link to that down below, or it will pop up in the card. But that was season 1. It had this barbershop feel. But this week, season 2 launched, and it's got a different vibe. It has this whole Charlie Rose type of vibe. The set is different. It's now in a dark room and a round table. And I don't know, it's very different from season 1, which had a more youthful vibe. This is a more serious vibe. I hope that they can still retain their younger, more youthful audience with this new look. On episode 1 for season 2, they had Seyi, Babatope, and Fela, Durotoye, and Dipo Adeusi, who was also on season 1, as guests, and the topic was age discrimination.
When you hear most of the guys in the older generation, they're saying things like to us, like, nobody's going to give you, you guys going to have to take it. So they're the ones saying, we're competing with you guys. Yeah. They're the ones saying, we're going to continue until you guys take it by force. And the question is, that's not the way it should have been.
Yeah. Essentially, they're talking about how, with government and leadership in Nigeria, the older generation just doesn't seem to want to give the younger generation a chance. And if you're familiar with Nigeria and Nigerian politics and Nigerian government, we've constantly been ruled by the older generation. I don't think there's been anyone under 50 that has been president in Nigeria in a very long time. And this is an issue because with leadership and ideas and ruling a country, essentially, a lot of things, the country is, especially now, is changing, not the country, the world, is changing so quickly that so many things are tied to innovation, and older people, no offense to them, just really aren't as good as keeping up with innovation and changes and the things that are happening in the world and solutions as much as young people are. And if you constantly keep on having old people leading you and in leadership, you will be lagging behind the rest of the world in terms of development. This is essentially what the conversation was about on episode 1. Fela Durotoye was, as always, very articulate. Fela Durotoye is running for president next year in 2019. I wasn't too sure about Fela Durotoye, but watching this episode now, I have a lot more confidence in him, and I really do see him being an incredible president of Nigeria and just really taking this country to another level. He said lots of amazing things. He gave a few illustrations. And whenever Fela Durotoye talks about Nigeria and about politics and leadership, I mean, you can feel the passion. You can feel the passion for the country and the desire to just make things work. And I think he really does have the capacity to do so. But enough about Fela Durotoye. The other guest, Seyi Babatope, who I had never heard of prior to this episode, he was a breath of fresh air. Very articulate. It's always nice to hear from people. He's a Nigerian, but I think he lives outside the country, or he spent a lot of time outside the country. And when people who come from outside the country analyze Nigeria, it gives you a chance to see Nigeria through their eyes, through the eyes of people who are coming from a system where things work. So he gave that perspective. I like when he said Nigeria is the worst place to have money in large sums, because you can only do one of two things. You can only either buy cars or build houses.
This is my personal opinion here, how I feel about things. Nigeria is probably the worst place for you to have money in large sums. You can only do two things with money here, right? You buy a big house or you buy a big car. After that, it's pretty much it.
You can't really do much else with your money. I mean, you can do a lot of other things. You can build schools, you can sponsor people, you can incubate businesses and startups. But I see where he comes from in terms of when you have lots of money, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. But I think if you're a Nigerian and you're watching this, you get what I mean. If you have large sums of money, there's only so much you can do, which is ironic because we're in a country where a lot needs to be done and where the need is just so great. So it's just not an environment that lets you really do what you want to do, where your heart is. It's really difficult for you to take on passion projects. I encourage people to do so, but it's just not, I don't want to use that term, it's not an enabling environment for certain things. But I digress. I like how, I think it was Adeolu who said, our political parties aren't really based on values. Like, you can't really see this political party and say, okay, this is this person's value, this is that person's value, in terms of the party now, not the individuals. And it's because of that that you have a lot of politicians jumping from one party to the other, because they just don't have, on paper, they have fundamental values and things that they say they stand for, but in practice, it's just chaos. It's just, you know, whoever's agenda favors this individual or that individual, or vice versa. And this is so true.
What I love is that we're creating, with you now, a party with values. My big issue is we've had no parties with values. Yeah. At least in America, you know, Democrats stand for this, Republicans stand for this. What side are you on? But people are jumping parties because there's no set values.
I like how, I think Fela said you have to be somewhat forceful and not, I don't want to use the word rebellious, but you just have to be intentional about taking leadership or being heard as a young person in this country, especially where leadership is concerned. And he said it, that leadership themselves, the older generation are all about, you know, I mean, nobody's going to give you leadership, you younger people. You have to grab it, you have to take it forcefully. And that's not the right mindset. Our leaders and the older generation should be encouraging, they should be supportive, they should have a succession mindset that, okay, we are here now, but you guys can do it as well. This is how you go about things. This is what you need to know for, you know, when your time comes. That is not the mindset. That's not the way things are in Nigeria. And that is very, very wrong of the older generation. So yeah, there is a lot to be done. And I like how it's very conversational and very developmental. Now, what I did not like about it, the new set and the new look and feel of the show has, it takes some getting used to. They have this dark room, like I said, Charlie Rose feel, and I think it affects the viewing experience. I found myself really squinting most of the time. I increased the brightness on my screen. I don't know, it just takes some getting used to. I hope as time goes on, they improve on that. Also, I noticed that for episode 1, they didn't really make use of the description box on YouTube. Because I tried to get Seyi Babatope's name. I didn't know it prior to that episode, so I checked the description box on YouTube. It wasn't there. It was blank, in fact. So the producers of Shop Talk, please look into that. Check out, just fill up your description box. That's something that YouTube always suggests or advises, that you put some relevant content in text form in your description box. What else? I hope they have a really good season. They have some good guests lined up. From the trailers, they've got people like Chude Judonwo and Debola Williams and Etim Efyong and I think Bubemi Fregene and even Pasowale Adefarasin himself as guests on this season. So I look forward to it. You guys should check it out, especially if you're passionate about Nigeria. Check it out. I'm really excited for season 2 of Shop Talk. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And let me know, like I said, what you think about season 2 of Shop Talk. If you haven't seen season 1, check that out as well. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Yeah. Okay. I will make a positive impact.
Make a positive impact
on everyone I meet.
On everyone I meet.
And everywhere I go.
And everywhere I go.
I will be a solution provider.
I'll be a solution provider.
And not a part of the problem to be solved.
And not a part of the problem to be solved.
I will be a role model.
I will be a role model.
Worthy of emulation.
Worthy of emulation.
I will be my best.
I will do my best.
In all that I do.
In all that I do.
Particularly
the
things I'm naturally good at.
The things I'm naturally good at.
I will do the right thing.
I will do the right thing.
At all times.
At all times. Regardless
of who's doing the wrong thing.
Of who's doing the wrong thing.
I will value time.
I will value time.
And make the best use of it.
And make the best use of it.
I will care.
I will care.
And show respect.
And show respect.
To all.
To all.
Through my words and my actions.
Through my words and my actions.
I will consciously.
Build
a great legacy.
Build a great legacy.
Starting now.
Today.
And every day.
And every day.
I will live a life of integrity.
I will live a life of integrity.
And honor.
I
will make my family.
And I will make my family.
My nation.
And my God proud. So help me God.